While every other man is desperately posting thirst traps and sliding into DMs, there's a different breed walking among us, silent, purposeful, and utterly magnetic without even trying. They don't chase validation because they've already found something far more valuable: themselves. These men operate on a frequency so rare that women can't help but be drawn to their gravitational pull, even when they're not actively seeking attention. You see them in boardrooms, coffee shops, and mountain trails. The ones who command respect through presence alone, who've mastered the ancient art of being completely whole without needing anyone else to complete them. Welcome to Sigma Male Community, where we decode the mysteries of authentic masculine power and explore the stoic principles that forge unbreakable men. Today we're diving deep into something that might surprise you: the undeniable magnetism that Sigma males possess, not through flashy displays or aggressive pursuit, but through the quiet mastery of their own existence. This isn't about pickup artistry or manipulation tactics. This is about understanding how genuine self-development and stoic wisdom create an attraction so powerful that it operates on a subconscious level. The ancient Stoics understood that true strength comes from within, that the man who controls his own mind and emotions becomes a force of nature that others instinctively respect and desire to be around. 1. The gravity of silence, not just quiet. The Sigma male silence isn't the awkward quiet of social anxiety or the calculated withholding of the manipulator. It's the profound stillness of a man who has learned that his words carry weight precisely because he doesn't waste them. Like the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, the Sigma understands that observation precedes wisdom, and wisdom precedes meaningful action. His silence creates a vacuum in social spaces where others feel compelled to fill the void, revealing their true nature while he maps the emotional and psychological terrain around him. This isn't passive behavior. It's strategic intelligence at work, the kind that comes from years of disciplined self-reflection and emotional regulation. Women find this silence magnetic because it represents something increasingly rare in our hyperconnected world: a man who doesn't need constant validation or attention to feel secure in his identity. Neuroscience reveals that uncertainty and mystery trigger the brain's reward centers more intensely than predictable outcomes, and the Sigma's measured communication style taps directly into this psychological mechanism. When he finally speaks, his words land with the impact of carefully aimed arrows rather than scattered buckshot, creating moments of genuine connection that feel profound rather than superficial. The Stoic principle of thoughtful response over reactive behavior becomes his secret weapon, making every interaction feel significant and leaving women craving more of his rare but meaningful attention. 2. Architect of scarcity beyond busy. The Sigma male doesn't manufacture scarcity through games or artificial unavailability. His genuine inaccessibility stems from a life so rich with purpose and meaning that trivial interactions simply don't make the cut. Drawing from Marcus Aurelius's concept of time as our most precious resource, the Sigma treats his attention like a master craftsman treats rare materials, with reverence, precision, and intentional allocation. He's not scrolling through endless social media feeds or engaging in pointless small talk because he's genuinely absorbed in building something meaningful, whether that's a business empire, mastering a skill, or deepening his understanding of himself and the world around him. This authentic scarcity creates what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect, where unfinished or interrupted experiences occupy more mental space than completed ones. Women find themselves thinking about the Sigma not because he's playing hard to get, but because his genuine engagement with life's deeper purposes makes their interactions feel incomplete and full of untapped potential. The Stoic concept of focusing only on what truly matters becomes his unconscious dating strategy, where quality trumps quantity in every aspect of his existence. When a woman does earn his time and attention, she feels like she's been granted access to something genuinely valuable rather than just another slot in someone's busy schedule, and this recognition of worth creates a psychological bonding that goes far beyond surface attraction. 3. The purpose vortex, your North Star magnetizes. The Sigma male's relationship with his life's purpose resembles a blacksmith's relationship with fire. It's not just a tool he uses, but a consuming force that shapes everything he touches and everyone who comes near him. Like the Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who balanced running an empire with deep philosophical inquiry, the Sigma has discovered that true masculine energy comes from alignment with something greater than immediate gratification or social approval. His purpose isn't a hobby or side project. It's the nuclear reactor that powers his entire existence, generating an energy field so intense that high-value women can sense it from across a room. This isn't the desperate hustle of someone trying to prove their worth, it's the steady burn of a man who has found his calling and surrenders himself completely to its demands. Women are neurologically wired to detect signs of genetic fitness and resource abundance, and nothing signals these qualities more powerfully than a man who is genuinely consumed by meaningful work that extends beyond his own immediate needs. The Sigma's purpose creates what behavioral psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. His attention becomes unpredictable not through manipulation but through genuine absorption in his mission, making every moment of his focus feel like a rare gift. The Stoic principle of preferred indifference comes into play here. While he may enjoy female company and even seek partnership, he doesn't need it for his sense of identity or worth, making him emotionally available without being needy. Women find themselves not competing with other women for his attention, but with his life's work itself, and this competition with something noble and worthwhile triggers a deeper level of respect and attraction than any superficial rivalry ever could. 4. Unshakable core confidence, the quiet tsunami. The confidence of a Sigma male doesn't announce itself with loud proclamations or chest-thumping displays. It radiates from him like heat from a forge, unmistakable to anyone who comes close enough to feel its warmth. This confidence is built on the Stoic foundation of self-knowledge and emotional sovereignty, where a man has done the hard work of understanding his strengths, acknowledging his weaknesses, and accepting both without the need for external validation or denial. Unlike the brittle confidence of the narcissist or the compensatory bravado of the insecure, Sigma confidence is tested steel, forged through challenges, tempered by setbacks, and proven reliable under pressure. It shows in the way he moves through space without hurry or hesitation, the way he maintains eye contact without aggression or submission, and the way he speaks his truth without concern for whether others approve. This deep confidence creates what women experience as emotional safety, a rare sanctuary in a world full of men who are either desperately seeking approval or aggressively defending fragile egos. The Sigma's self-assurance stems from years of Stoic practice, where he has learned to find his center regardless of external circumstances, making him a stable point of reference in the chaos of modern life. Women instinctively recognize this stability as a sign of both genetic fitness and emotional maturity, triggering attraction responses that operate below the level of conscious thought. His confidence doesn't demand anything from her, not validation, not reassurance, not proof of his worth, which paradoxically makes her want to give these things freely. The Stoic teaching that we cannot control others' opinions, only our own responses, becomes his unconscious relationship philosophy, creating the kind of secure attachment that high-value women crave but rarely find in the dating marketplace. 5. The unpredictable current, master of flow. The Sigma male's life reads like an adventure novel written by someone who refuses to be confined by genre. One chapter finds him deep in solitary wilderness contemplation. The next shows him commanding a boardroom or revolutionizing an industry through innovative thinking. This unpredictability isn't the chaos of an unfocused mind but the natural expression of a man who has embraced the Stoic principle of adaptation while maintaining core values and identity. Like water that takes the shape of its container while never losing its essential nature, the Sigma flows between different roles and environments with fluid mastery, never becoming trapped by others' expectations or limited by conventional definitions of success. His life becomes a testament to the Stoic ideal of living according to nature, not the nature of conformity, but the nature of his authentic self expressed through multiple dimensions. This multifaceted existence triggers powerful psychological responses in women because it suggests unlimited potential and continuous growth, two qualities that evolutionary psychology identifies as highly attractive in long-term partners. The Sigma's unpredictability operates on the principle of dopaminergic reward systems. The brain becomes addicted to novelty and uncertain outcomes, making every interaction with him feel like opening a present with unknown contents. Women find themselves unable to categorize him neatly, which prevents the relationship from falling into predictable patterns that lead to boredom or taking each other for granted. The Stoic concept of preferred indifference allows him to engage fully with whatever role or challenge is before him without becoming attached to any particular identity, making him simultaneously reliable in character and surprising in expression. He's not a static portrait that can be analyzed and filed away. He's a living masterpiece that reveals new layers of complexity with each viewing, keeping attraction alive through genuine depth rather than manufactured mystery. 6. The emotional Aikido master, safe ground, shifting terrain. The Sigma male has mastered what might be called emotional Aikido, the art of creating profound safety while simultaneously offering exhilarating challenge, using an opponent's energy against them, but in this case, using life's pressures to forge deeper connection rather than destruction. Drawing from the Stoic understanding that we cannot control what happens to us but can always control our response, the Sigma creates a relationship dynamic where a woman feels completely seen and accepted for who she is while also being gently challenged to become who she could be. This isn't the false binary of either being a pushover or a dominator. It's the sophisticated emotional intelligence of a man who has learned to hold space for both comfort and growth simultaneously. He practices what Marcus Aurelius called sympathia, the recognition that we are all part of an interconnected whole, which allows him to support her journey without trying to control its direction. This combination of safety and stimulation taps into what neuroscientists identify as the optimal conditions for both attraction and personal development. Enough security to feel safe exploring new territories, enough challenge to keep the nervous system engaged and growing. Women experience this as being truly seen rather than judged, valued rather than possessed, and invited to expand rather than contracted to fit someone else's limitations. The Sigma's emotional Aikido means he doesn't react defensively to her emotions but instead channels them into deeper intimacy and understanding, using the Stoic principle of turning obstacles into stepping stones. He becomes both her calm harbor and her adventure guide, offering the kind of relationship that satisfies both her need for security and her desire for growth. This emotional sophistication, rooted in years of Stoic self-development, creates the kind of attraction that deepens over time rather than fading, because it's based on genuine respect and mutual evolution rather than surface-level chemistry alone. 7. The anti-digital ghost, presence through absence. While the majority of modern men have become slaves to the digital dopamine machine, constantly refreshing feeds and crafting online personas in desperate bids for virtual validation, the Sigma male operates as an anti-digital ghost, present in the real world with such intensity that his rare digital appearances carry disproportionate impact. Following the Stoic principle of focusing on what truly matters, he has recognized that genuine life experiences cannot be captured in pixels and that real relationships require physical presence, emotional availability, and shared moments that exist beyond the performative nature of social media. His digital minimalism isn't a rejection of technology but a conscious choice to use it as a tool rather than allowing it to use him, maintaining his sovereignty over his attention and energy in an age when most men have surrendered both to algorithmic manipulation. This scarcity in the digital realm makes his authentic in-person presence feel like a rare and precious commodity to women who have grown accustomed to competing with smartphones for men's attention. When he's with someone, he's truly with them, not half present while scrolling through notifications or mentally composing the perfect caption for their shared experience. The Stoic concept of mindfulness and present moment awareness becomes his secret weapon in a world of distracted, digitally mediated relationships. Women remember him not for the perfectly curated image he posted but for the way he made them feel when they were together, for the quality of his attention and the depth of his engagement with their shared reality. His physical presence becomes a sanctuary from the hyper-connected world, a reminder of what human connection felt like before it was filtered through screens and algorithms, making every moment with him feel more vivid and meaningful than the endless stream of digital interactions that define most modern relationships. 8. The unfinished symphony, master of lingering intrigue. The Sigma male understands something that escapes most men in our age of oversharing and desperate transparency, that mystery and intrigue are not obstacles to connection but rather the very fuel that keeps attraction burning bright over time. Like a master composer who knows that the spaces between notes are as important as the notes themselves, the Sigma strategically employs what might be called elegant incompleteness in his interactions, allowing conversations to end at their emotional peaks rather than dragging them into mundane territory. This approach stems from the Stoic understanding that we cannot control others' reactions or responses, only our own contributions to the interaction, which frees him from the compulsive need to over-explain, overshare, or seek immediate closure on every exchange. He trusts in the natural rhythm of connection and allows space for a woman's own imagination and desire to build momentum. This strategic use of unresolved tension taps directly into what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect, where incomplete experiences occupy more mental real estate than finished ones, creating a psychological loop that keeps drawing the mind back to contemplate what was left unsaid or unexplored. Women find themselves replaying his words, analyzing his pauses, and building entire narratives around the potential contained in their unfinished exchanges, making him a constant presence in their thoughts even when he's physically absent. The Sigma's respect for mystery isn't manipulation but rather a sophisticated understanding that some of life's most beautiful experiences cannot be captured through complete explanation or total transparency. Like the Stoic teaching that wisdom often lies in knowing what we don't know, he creates space for wonder and discovery to unfold naturally rather than attempting to force artificial intimacy through premature emotional exposure. This approach makes every interaction feel like the opening chapter of a story that promises depth and complexity, keeping women emotionally invested in discovering what lies beneath his calm surface. 9. The value-gated fortress, attention as a sovereign currency. The Sigma male treats his attention and energy with the same careful stewardship that a nation applies to its gold reserves, as finite resources that must be protected, cultivated, and allocated with strategic precision rather than squandered on every passing demand or social obligation. This approach flows naturally from the Stoic teaching that our time and energy are the only true assets we possess, and that wisdom lies in investing them where they can generate genuine value rather than merely satisfying others' expectations or our own need for social approval. His selectivity isn't born from arrogance or superiority but from a deep understanding that by protecting his capacity for genuine engagement, he ensures that when he does give his focus to someone, it carries real weight and meaning rather than being diluted across countless superficial interactions. This value-gated approach creates what women experience as earning access to something genuinely precious rather than simply receiving attention from someone who gives it freely to anyone who asks. The psychological principle of scarcity value comes into play. Things that are difficult to obtain are perceived as more valuable than those that are readily available, and the Sigma's careful allocation of his time and energy makes every moment of his focused attention feel like a rare gift rather than an expected commodity. Women find themselves rising to meet his standards not because he demands it but because they recognize intuitively that access to his inner world requires a level of substance and authenticity that matches his own. The Stoic concept of preferred indifference helps him maintain this boundary. While he may enjoy social interaction and value deep connections, he doesn't need them for his sense of self-worth, which prevents him from compromising his standards out of loneliness or social pressure. This creates a dynamic where women feel honored to be chosen rather than pursued, shifting the entire framework of attraction from scarcity and desperation to abundance and mutual selection. 10. The embodied paradox, gentle strength, untamed spirit. The Sigma male embodies what seems like an impossible contradiction. He possesses the gentle strength of a master who has nothing left to prove combined with the untamed spirit of an explorer who refuses to be fully mapped or contained by others' expectations. This paradox stems from years of Stoic self-development, where he has learned to be simultaneously rooted and fluid, principled and adaptable, fierce and tender depending on what the situation requires. Like the Taoist concept of water that can be soft enough to nourish life yet powerful enough to carve through stone, the Sigma has integrated opposing forces within himself rather than choosing one extreme or the other. His strength doesn't express itself through domination or aggression but through unshakable internal stability, while his wildness isn't chaos but rather the freedom that comes from being truly comfortable with his own nature and needs. This psychological complexity creates what women experience as encountering someone who cannot be easily categorized or controlled, which triggers both primal attraction responses and higher-level fascination with his depth and mystery. The Sigma's embodied paradox means he can be the rock-solid foundation she relies on during storms while also being the unpredictable adventure that keeps life exciting and full of possibility. His gentle strength appeals to her evolutionary programming that seeks protection and stability, while his untamed spirit satisfies her desire for growth, exploration, and freedom from conventional limitations. The Stoic practice of self-examination and philosophical reflection has allowed him to integrate what Carl Jung called the shadow, the rejected or hidden aspects of personality, making him whole rather than fragmented, authentic rather than performed. Women sense this integration at an unconscious level and are drawn to the promise of a relationship with someone who has done the inner work necessary to love fully without losing himself in the process, someone who can be both sanctuary and adventure, both home and horizon. 11. The self-sufficient singularity, your wholeness is the ultimate aphrodisiac. The ultimate Sigma superpower lies not in any external skill or achievement but in something far more rare and attractive. Radical, unapologetic wholeness that comes from years of Stoic self-development and philosophical practice. This isn't the hollow self-sufficiency of someone who has given up on connection or the defensive independence of someone wounded by past experiences, but rather the genuine completeness of a man who has done the deep work of understanding himself, accepting his nature, and building a life that generates meaning and fulfillment from internal sources rather than external validation. Drawing from Marcus Aurelius's teaching that happiness comes from within and cannot be granted or taken away by others, the Sigma has cultivated what might be called sovereign selfhood, a state of being where he doesn't need a relationship to feel complete but has the capacity to choose one as an enhancement to an already fulfilling existence. This authentic wholeness triggers what evolutionary psychologists identify as the deepest levels of attraction because it signals genetic fitness, emotional stability, and resource abundance without any accompanying neediness or desperation that would indicate underlying insecurity or scarcity. Women find themselves drawn not to what he lacks or needs from them, but to what he offers and shares freely from his abundance, creating a dynamic of mutual enhancement rather than codependent completion. The Sigma's lack of neediness isn't coldness or emotional unavailability but rather invitational freedom. He creates space for a woman to be herself authentically without the pressure of having to fill gaps in his self-worth or complete missing pieces of his identity. The Stoic understanding that we are complete within ourselves while also being part of a larger whole allows him to maintain his individuality while remaining genuinely open to deep connection and partnership. This combination of independence and availability, of self-sufficiency and generosity, creates the kind of magnetic attraction that grows stronger over time because it's based on choice rather than need, abundance rather than scarcity, and genuine appreciation rather than desperate validation seeking. Brothers, if you've made it this far, you've just completed a masterclass in authentic masculine magnetism, the kind that doesn't rely on pickup lines, manipulation tactics, or desperate attempts to impress, but instead flows naturally from the depths of genuine self-development and Stoic wisdom. These 11 signs aren't a checklist to fake or a persona to adopt. They're the natural expressions of a man who has committed himself to the ancient path of self-mastery, emotional sovereignty, and purposeful living that the Stoics have been teaching for over 2,000 years. The attraction that Sigma males generate isn't a trick or a technique. It's the inevitable result of becoming the kind of man that others naturally want to be around, respect, and yes, fall in love with, because he represents something increasingly rare in our modern world: authentic strength combined with genuine depth. The journey to becoming this kind of man isn't easy, and it's certainly not quick, but it's the most rewarding path you can walk because every step makes you more genuinely yourself rather than a pale imitation of someone else's idea of attractiveness. The Stoics understood that excellence is not an act but a habit, that we become what we repeatedly practice, and that the man who masters himself becomes master of his destiny in ways that extend far beyond romantic attraction into every area of life worth living. Here at Sigma Male Community, we're committed to being your guide on this journey, providing the wisdom, strategies, and philosophical framework that transforms boys into men and men into the kind of leaders that the world desperately needs. If this video has sparked something in you, a recognition of who you could become, a desire to walk the path less traveled, or simply a hunger for more truth in a world full of comfortable lies, then smash that like button to let us know we're hitting the mark. Drop a comment sharing which of these signs resonated most deeply with your own experience or aspirations. And share this video with any brother who needs to hear this message because true strength multiplies when it's shared rather than hoarded. Most importantly, if you haven't already joined our community by subscribing and hitting that notification bell, do it now because we're just getting started on this journey together, and the content coming next will build on everything we've discussed today, taking you deeper into the practical application of Stoic principles in modern life, the specific daily practices that forge unshakable confidence, and the advanced strategies for building the kind of purpose-driven existence that becomes a magnet for everything good life has to offer. Remember, brothers, your evolution is not just personal transformation, it's a gift to the world, because every man who commits to becoming genuinely excellent raises the standard for all of us and creates a ripple effect that touches every life he encounters. The path of the Sigma isn't about standing apart from the world but about standing so firmly in your own truth that you become a lighthouse for others who are still lost at sea. Keep forging ahead, keep questioning everything, and keep building the kind of life that makes other people wonder what your secret is, because your journey toward authentic greatness is the greatest contribution you can make to a world that's hungry for real men who lead by example rather than empty words.